Hi, my name's Holly and I'm a full-time artist living in Australia. If you're new to the channel, welcome. In today's video, I'll be discussing my journey through art school and 5 things that really helped me understand how to paint realism. Everyone's art journey is so unique, but if any of these topics resonate with you, let me know in the comments. Let's go. Before I get into the painting tips, I'll just take you through a brief overview of my time at art school. When I was 20, I decided to do an advanced diploma of fine art at my local TAFE. If you're not familiar with the Australian education system, TAFE is like a technical college where you go to learn a trade. Builders, plumbers, chefs, hairdressing, you get the gist. The TAFE Art Centre that I attended back in 1999 to 2001 is no longer there. In fact, there is no art education courses at many TAFE colleges now due to government funding cutbacks. So I completed, and I use the term loosely, an advanced diploma of fine arts over 3 years, which consisted of painting, drawing, printmaking, ceramics photography and art theory. Because I wasn't eligible for any government assistance, I was completely broke the first year and couldn't even afford to drive my car the half hour to TAFE every day, let alone buy any art materials.
People always say money can't buy happiness, shit.
The second year, I got a job working night shift 4 nights a week at the local abattoirs. I now had plenty of money, but smelt like meat, was always late to class, or I was just too tired to go to class at all. Then my dad passed away and I just kind of drank so much that the third year of the course was a bit of a blur. To be fair, could I have been taught how to paint if I'd shown up regularly to class? Probably. But that's not how it played out. And being in my early 20s, I learned some life lessons during that time, so I can't really say I regret anything. The one thing I did gain from my time at TAFE were some really great friendships. And in my second year, one of these friends brought me my first set of Rembrandt oil paints. Up until then, I had only painted with acrylics and pastels. At the time, I was in love with surrealism and thought Salvador Dali was the bomb. I really loved the randomness of surrealism, but wanted to incorporate that into my own unique painting ideas, which included elements of realism. Despite being surrounded by amazing teachers who are all successful practicing artists with amazing careers, I can't recall any of them showing me how to achieve realism in oils. I remember at the time conceptual art was being pushed pretty heavily, and out of my 7 teachers, only 1 painted with any degree of realism. So how did I learn to paint realism? 1. I found the art book. Have you ever found an art book that contained so much amazing information your head exploded? I found that book at my TAFE library, and it was called How to Draw and Paint What You See by Ray Smith. This book was in the same format as any other art instruction book, but on page 43, the author demonstrates painting an egg in black and white, and all he did was lay 3 values side by side, following the form of the egg, and then blended them together. That one picture created an aha moment, and I suddenly had an idea of how Dali might have painted his amazing works. The second thing that helped me was I found the book The Artist's Way. So I discovered the basic techniques for blending and creating form, but I was still not a great student. I was frequently late to class due to some unhealthy habits I had formed, and I just couldn't concentrate. One day, my mum asked me to go with her on a trip to Sydney as my baby sister, Laura, had some medical appointments and needed some support. We came across this funky bookshop in Manly, and I used my last $40 to buy The Artist's Way, and it changed how I viewed creativity forever. I had never heard anyone discuss the notion of creativity in a spiritual sense, art as play, or the idea that it's okay to make mistakes. I devoured the book and started diligently doing my morning pages. If you're not familiar with The Artist's Way, morning pages are the same as journaling, only you have to write 3 A4 pages, non-negotiable. The idea being that if you write long enough, something will emerge, a character for a book, a painting idea, a short poem. Writing morning pages is usually when I get most of my painting ideas. When I journal, I keep my sketchbook open so I can do a quick thumbnail sketch when an idea pops up. Writing this way teaches you to tap into the flow state, where you allow yourself the space to daydream, something I always did as a kid. So did the artist's way turn me into a model student? Nope. But it gave me the permission to call myself an artist and not take everything so seriously. The third thing that really helped me convey realism better was I started painting on wood panels. My goal in my 20s was realism, and many artists believe that smooth surfaces such as wood and aluminium are the superior choice to convey fine details. Canvas is easy to blend on, but I dislike when the weave shows through, and back then it was as expensive as We didn't have the luxury of ducking into Kmart and picking up a canvas with a floating frame for $10. So in my late 20s and now with 2 little kiddies, I started cutting my own MDF boards, priming them myself, and painting small still lifes of the kids' toys in my lounge room. My initial experiences were slippery. Painting on a super slick surface takes some getting used to, and you can quite easily blend away all the paint you just laid down. It made me consider other methods of blending, and more importantly, how to paint using multiple layers, commonly referred to by the cool kids as indirect painting. The fourth thing that really helped me was reading other artists' blogs. By reading other artists' blogs, I also learned and finally understood about the fat over lean rule, how to set up my work area, and how having a soft or hard edge affects depth. It was around this time I discovered the works of Michael Parks, an amazing imaginative realism painter, and was blown away by his paint application technique, but more importantly, his imagery. At this stage, I hadn't yet discovered the Munsell colour system and was mixing my colours intuitively. I still do this to a certain degree, but it's been incredibly helpful to actually understand the 3 components of colour, which are hue, value, and chroma. Just being able to adjust the chroma, also known as saturation, is a great tool to have when painting in realism. Nowadays, we have YouTube, which holds an abundance of art-related learning videos that make formal art education redundant. And number 5, I kept painting. This goes without saying, but in order to get better at anything, you have to practice. At the age of 25, and having had my first child 6 months prior, I had my first solo exhibition in a cafe in my tiny hometown. Some of my teachers from TAFE came to the opening and I sold a few pieces. This gave me the motivation to keep painting until I decided to get my teacher's degree, and my oil paints sat in a container out in the shed for the next 10 to 12 years. Throughout my teaching career, I continued to watch countless hours of YouTube videos about art and painting techniques, and my love of painting never died. When I did finally start painting again, I was a little rusty, but with some encouragement from family and friends, I quickly got back into the swing of things and now create art full-time. So there you have it. Even though I wasn't taught directly how to paint realism in oils, I got there in the end with an inquisitive mind, a thirst for knowledge, and lots of persistence. Don't ever feel like you need to attend art school to start creating art. Just start where you are with what you've got. I turned 47 in a couple of weeks, and I'm so grateful I didn't quit painting for good. I'm looking forward to the hundreds of paintings I know I still want to paint. I hope this video has been somewhat entertaining and maybe even a little helpful. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and sign up for my email newsletter, which I send out whenever I release a new painting. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.